Oh, bro, she finessed them. Bro, she finessed the fuck out of them. Said, "Hey, can you pay for my rigging?" They paid for it, and then she said, "Yo, psych, I'm gonna work with the other people." Oh, she did offer to pay it back. I will say she did say she was willing to pay it back, right? If I could pay back the figure and the rigging with our current comms, she did say that, right? That's still kind of shitty though, right? You're like, all right. Nana got tired of hearing about Silvervale and didn't want to be involved in the issues regarding her, but didn't say anything about keeping her out of drama to red. She faced no backlash, right? Yeah. When Nano had mentioned me about the agreement almost a month later, I was under the assumption that it was only about Silvervale, and I was sending my initial message to her. All right, let's see. I want to say sorry for stepping back from the exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize for personally to you. I've only talked about with Red, but I just don't want to be dragged on any personal issues like this after Silver's still a client, and it makes me anxious and kind of destroys my mental to just kind of deal. From every conversation we've seen so far, which by the way, we obviously don't have the full context, Silvervale hasn't been mentioned in so fucking long. Nano brought up Silvervale. You know what I mean? Like, they stopped talking about Silvervale in like 2024. This is 2025, and Nano brings up Silvervale again. Right? Which is weird. I think Cinder is a good person. I mean, isn't there a separate section? We're gonna get to that. We got to go through Bao's 100 pages first, right? The Numi concert, I think, is unnecessary because I'm gonna be honest with you. The Numi concert part, from my understanding, because I did skim it before I mentioned that earlier, is when I skimmed the Numi part specifically a lot, and it's just about he said, she said. Everybody, or specifically Shiley, was saying that Cinder never went to Numi's concert, but Cinder has significant proof that she was there, and so did so many other VTubers. And it's just about pointing out that Shiley fucking lied multiple times by saying that Cinder never showed up for a friend when Cinder was there. Right? That is the one thing that I got from skimming that. Right? Which I don't know why Shiley would lie about that, but whatever. Unnecessary to this entire doc, I feel. Right? Like that just seems unnecessary to the doc. I don't see the point of keeping thinking about being compared to Silver. You're so much bigger already and so much more. But I would never give Silver any priority over you, so there's also not any model being discussed. I get it now. It was a fair position. Really confusing going back and forth about it. I just compared her a lot, even to this day. I'm still always giving some of his shadow. Okay, this is when Cinder finally tells her how she feels about Silvervale, right? And when you said, I understand if things don't work out, it made me feel like you're okay with not working with me anymore, which hurts me so much after all this time. I really appreciate you now, and it's your decision who you ultimately work with. But that's how I was feeling. That's just, okay, that's fair. That's a fair statement to make, right? So Nano just says that she doesn't want to be involved in drama, right? And Cinder's like, you know, it's not my opinion, it's just other people's opinions, which is something that Red said since the beginning, right? Nano is like, my mental health is taking shit or whatever. And Nano's, this seems like Nano, God, it looks like Nano is misunderstanding a lot of things that Red and Cinder are saying. And Nano seems to be taking these things to heart. But then blatantly lies. Right? Like this is what it seems like to boil down to. You know what I mean? And then Cinder apologizes for making it seem as though Nano was pressured. Because it looks like Cinder realized that there was miscommunication here, right? And thanks Nano for going through all the comms and stuff, right? So yeah. And then Cinder showcases that she has never talked shit about Bauer Cotton in their DMs. This is giving Nano more work. Red saw Nano working on a new model for Sha Lily for the first time. He messaged her and asked her questions about the timeline for model. Congrats on the Lily model. When did she ask you about doing one? And do you have a lot of their other models lined up before ours? Yeah, it seems like they were still willing to work with her, even though she canceled the exclusivity deal that she had asked for, by the way. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Asked Nano about Lily and her projects just like I would have any other time, and Nano gave me the information just like she would any other time, and I thought Lily getting a model from Nano could possibly be related to how she was treating Cinder lately. So Red jumped the gun on this one, it looks like. And I think Red was jumping the gun and assuming that Lily was a terrible person here, right? What business is this for him to ask about other VTuber commissions? He always has, just to make sure that they don't have debut dates that line up. He made that very clear since he started asking in 2023. And you know, he's always asked about it. But also just to see if she would have time to work on projects so that they could either, you know, reschedule with her or give the project to someone else. Right? It is very fair to him to ask about other people's debuts. That makes sense. Right? I would ask an editor, hey, if you're working on something, let me know. Maybe I can give this to someone else. Right? So yeah. And Cinder is no longer a co-owner of GamerSubs, right? That much was said. Maybe Charlotte already had beef with Cinder, and this is a little fuse for her to go full out against her with the gloves off. A lot of VTubers on Twitter are refusing to look at the doc. So that's what I'm seeing. Everyone is refusing to look at it. And if I'm going to be honest with you, like, it's kind of shit. It is kind of shit right now. But yeah. Yeah, I know. I know, man. She, like, realistically, dating Red is her biggest red flag. like that's just the truth, bro. Dating Red is her biggest red flag right now. Like, Red has caused her more issues than necessary. But also, with all the context, he always had her best interest in mind, right? Which is the mark of a good boyfriend. You know what I mean? Right? But realistically, like, it's still toxic, and I do still think they should break up, right? This was a takedown scandal. I don't think that anyone is like, like, don't get me wrong, right? As much as I know you want to believe that all the fucking VTubers like Nanoless, Shylily, Bao, whoever else are smart enough to do a coordinated attack and take down Cinder because she's competition or whatever, I personally don't think that any of them are that smart. I just think that they're very angry and very loud, and Nano lied her ass off and maybe got pressured into making a document that made Cinder look bad. Like, a lot worse than she definitely should have looked. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Will any of them respond? If they're smart, they won't. They could just ignore this and pretend like it didn't happen. And their careers will be just fine. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Red thought that we might have to consider that we'd be competing with Charlie the way she was treating me and the fact that she was working in Nano. Similar to how things were at Silverville, I didn't agree. In my mind, Charlie and I weren't going to be competing for anything, and this would be another thing that we'd have in common to hopefully bring us together. I was only concerned why she would have been upset with me lately and was anxious about it. The next day, Red went back to Nano to ask about Charlie again and tell her what I've been experiencing with her, and these are the last messages Red had with Nano, and the last conversation either of us had in out of our DMs and the project server, and had no knowledge of these conversations until Nano's document was released 2 weeks later. Everything I experienced in Charlie at the time is explained in her section of this document. Okay. All right. I didn't share any of these conversations with Cinder because there wasn't anything super meaningful or pressing I thought that she needed to know about. Hey, Nano, do you have any more plans with Lily besides this model, like outfits or merch or anything? Or just a model? Okay, just asking for model recently. Just made the antenna go up. She's been acting weird towards Cinder. So this is the stuff that okay, so now we're at the part that finally makes Red and Cinder look bad, right? When Red starts asking all these unnecessary questions, right? This is, I will agree, an instance that this is an unnecessary question, right? Red is saying that they're asking this in the context of they just wanted to know what the fuck was up with Lily, right? But I think, yeah, he was overreaching here, for sure. Like, him doing this is what made him and Cinder look bad. Him overreaching in this instance, these very few instances of him overreaching, are what make it seem like he was a manipulative piece of shit. Yeah, he goofed and he gave her ammo in places that she didn't have any. You know what I mean? Right? I think we need to reset in this whole situation. This just confirms that she didn't learn anything in her relationship. She won't change this evidence. It's not worthy to acknowledge as true. She's trying to just call herself innocent. Nah. So you're probably just joining in on the stream here. Let me explain to you the TLDR because you probably missed out on everything. I fully believe that Cinder is innocent here, right? That is my personal takeaway. I think that Cinder actually didn't do anything wrong. And I know I sound crazy as fucking shit for saying that right now. But I think that the only thing that Cinder did wrong is date Red. Because I think that Nanolist lied her fucking ass off given the fucking 200 pages that I've just read, which I'm sure you didn't. But with the 200 pages that I have just sat here and read, it is very evident that Nanolist lied her ass off, brought up the fact that she wanted an exclusivity deal, walked back on that exclusivity deal, and then told people that Red pressured her into it when she's the one that wanted it to begin with. Right? And it's shit to say, but in this specific instance, with Nanolist specifically, I don't think Cinder did a single fucking thing wrong. Right? And I truly believe that. Right? And I again, you may not have read it, but this is just me giving you the hard fucking facts. I read the 200 pages and I know you didn't. Just you wait. Does it get worse? What happens? Considering Nano is one that started all of this and blames Cinder for others' models being canceled, I feel everything falls on Nanoless. I don't know why she would make it. Like, why would you lie and then make the doc when you could be disproven? You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. It's so fucking weird. Dude. I've heard it gets worse, and I won't say much else. All right. And they talked about the Shiloh thing here. All right. We've seen this already. Okay. Like, he was like, this without the context made it seem like he was just pressing for info. But with the given context, dude just seems to have cared about his girlfriend. Right. And with the context, it's stupid that he would do this, right? But it's a nothing burger. You know what I mean? But this is the evidence that they used against them, because without the context, it looks like he's like pushing. He's like, I need to know, right? Type thing, which is crazy. But yeah, it's a weird dog. And then all I got from this proof of this is that she didn't learn to be better. I don't think she needs to learn to be better. Why would you need to learn to be better when you didn't cause your problems to happen? If someone lied about you, like the best thing you like, okay, yeah, I guess she should break up with Red. I will stand by that. In terms of learning to be better, yeah, she's a shitty person. But like, I think that Cinder is a shitty person to the same degree that most creators are shitty people, right? Like, and I don't know. I just don't necessarily think. I think that a lot of people just kind of unfairly, myself included, right, attacked her for it. You know what I mean? Which is why I said, and I said it. I said it in my video, and I'm willing to do it. I would apologize if I feel that she actually was not in the wrong. And in regards to Analyst, she's not in the wrong. But yes, Red is trying to justify it by saying this is the only time I ever said anything other than Cinder about competing with Lily. If Lily had a problem with Cinder at the time, started working with our model artist, then yes, we wouldn't be working together anymore. In my mind, we'd be competing with her at the very least over Nano's time. If Lily wasn't treating Cinder differently, I would have had any reason to think the time of Lily's model with Nano's was suspect, and no reason to ask Nano anything when she started working on Lily's model. I would have felt the same way about it that Cinder did. So Red had beef with Lily. Right, is what it's looking like. Like Red specifically had beef, is what they're claiming here. I don't know how true that could be, but you know, he started upping the ante and asking about the Lily thing, right? Which I'll play devil's advocate for the people that hate Cinder real quickly. Even if Cinder and Red hated Lily, it doesn't excuse a single fucking thing Nano listed. Even if they had some weird plot. Right? Let's say suddenly in April 2025, they had a weird plot to take down Charlie. It does not excuse a single fucking thing Nanolis did. And I think that it is fair for you to look at that and say, yeah, Nanolis is still wrong here. Right? Even if you are to say that they are shitty people because of XYZ and what they did to Charlie, Nanolis still did something wrong. Right? So yeah. Why does it seem like Red has beef with everyone? It's I don't know. You know what I think it is? Given the context of everything and the fact that he legitimately is willing to stay with the girl that cheated on him, I think he really like again, I don't know what the fuck love is, but this might be it, bro. Like it while she's consistently throwing him under the bus, he is consistently defending her. And I think he came from a place of love, like, hey, this is the love of my life. I will do anything to make sure that she is okay, including taking a fucking bullet. You know what I mean? Yeah, love is blind. And I think that's where he's coming from. And he's probably like, Lily's been weird to my girl. I gotta know why. You know? Low sense of self-value. No, exactly. And it's very dumb on his part. I will still say that I think Red is kind of redacted, and they definitely should break up. But you know, playing the devil's advocate that Cinder did something wrong here, it doesn't excuse Nanolis whatsoever. It genuinely doesn't, and I think that's fair. I was talking about communication about this with someone not stabbing someone in the back with lies. You know, fair. But you screenshots, they were talking about something unrelated. Okay, what happened here? Yada yada. Do you know who's rigging Lily's model? Thanks, Nano. Sorry for all the questions. Got to stay informed, especially when it comes to our top artists. Yeah, so this is just Red kind of overreaching. We talked about this earlier, right? Like Red asking a lot about Cinder here, or sorry, Shy Lily here. This is definitely overreaching. This is Red looking bad. Right, I think Red loses a point here. Again, for sure. Red definitely looks bad here. Let's see. What is this? Also, the profile picture is this. It wasn't either of us who had a problem with Lily or treating her differently for no apparent reason. Blah, blah, blah. They're just talking about more models here. These are my last. Red just wanted to brainstorm new ideas. Ah! if these are the last messages with Nanoless, which is in April, Nano is still agreeing to do work with them. Nano at no point said, oh, yeah, I don't want to work with you anymore. And then Nano suddenly made a doc. Right? That's insane. Bro, I had you in the back. I got FNAF'd. I'm so sorry. I don't even know. I'm so sorry. But I'm still trying to go through it, right? So
that's so embarrassing.
These are my last messages with Nano. I'm saying anything bad about Lily was a step too far for her. I don't know why. If she thought I was lying about Lily for some reason, she didn't just ask me to verify that I was telling her instead of leaking our messages. I never asked, told, implied, or said anything to Nano about not working with Lily or canceling her model. She had already started. I had no intention to. This is my last DM with Nano. She never replied and never messaged me. Talk things for a document privately. In my apology, I wrote, Nano has also never come to me seriously and professionally as her document and was addressing the issues she had with either of us or terminating our partnership. Hi, Nano. Would you want to come on my stream again sometime? Our partnership was terminated before Nano's document was posted, but not by her. Nano added me to this chat originally since it was the first time I'd ever been in contact with this other person. The time these screenshots were taken, Nano had already left the chat. The Discord message and her adding me into the chat with her leaving were gone, and it was apparent that the group owner Nano never sent a message in the chat was the original group owner. What? And I was apparently made the new group owner. Nano was never sent a message. Okay. Hi, nice to meet you, Red. I'm Akira, Nanoless's new manager. I'm here to support her with client outreach so that she can focus on what she does best, creating studying 2D anime babes. You may have noticed that she's been a bit quiet lately. Part of why I'm reaching out is to apologize for the radio silence, but more importantly, to ensure that there is always a clear line of communication moving forward so we can avoid issues like this in the future. That said, I also come bearing with some bittersweet news. Nanoless will be taking a break from working on large-scale commissions for Cinder. We know this may come as a surprise, but we didn't want to leave you in the dark. This decision was made lightly. Both of you have grown together and a really special creative bond. This is 3 days after she's still happily talking to Red. To be fair, this is when Red was asking about Lily. And then 3 days later, she's like, I suddenly don't want to work with you. Interesting. Interesting. That is so strange. The reason behind this pause is straightforward, though, without complexity. While the opportunity to work with Cinder has been incredible and quite lucrative, Nanoless feels like it's time to expand her artistic horizons. She wants to challenge herself with new styles and creators and is concerned that focusing solely on one project might pigeonhole her creatively. This isn't about her differences. Far from it. This is about growth and pursuit of a broader artistic path. If this is true, by the way, why did Nanoless consistently herself say that she didn't care about anyone else and only wanted to work with Cinder? Like I just want to understand, you know? That doesn't. Maybe the pressure finally broke her. Yeah, but she asked for it. Right? Like, how long back was the original doc against Cinder planned? I don't know. When was the document against Cinder posted? What date? Does anyone have an exact date? I don't care to look for it. But what was the exact date? Because this is April 15th is when they say we no longer want to work with you, right? April 27th. It's like 2 weeks later, she drops this doc, claiming that they pressured her. It's weird, right? All right. She openly hurt a lot of good people, VTubers included, and she didn't change and grow as a person. Okay, so your argument is that Cinder is a terrible person and she hurt people, right? Is that your argument? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a shit if she's a terrible person to share people. Right? Right. We all are terrible people and we all hurt people. But the reality of the situation is, if you're gonna say that Cinder's a terrible person and she hurt people, so did Nanolis. Like I'm gonna agree with you here, but why are you not pointing out the blatant and obvious fact that Nanolis is a terrible person to cheer people? Right? Genuinely. If you're gonna sit in my chat and say Cinder is terrible and she hurt people, how about Nanolis? Just how about Nanolis? Straight up. You said you read all 1,000 pages. How do you read 1,000 of these pages and not see that Nanolis is in the wrong? Genuinely. Nano did awful things. Okay, cool. Then I will agree with you there. I'm glad we are on the same page right now. Nano still lied. People on Twitter are starting to realize, oh, so I have to go back and catch up. Hey, welcome in. I only noticed the doc when the VTubers I follow shit on Cinder. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I'm glad to know we're on the same page. Most VTubers are strangers to us. We don't know much about them. That's fair. I guess, to be fair, you guys don't know a lot of these people, right? Like, I've met some of these people like in person, right? I've physically interacted with them. And so like when Cinder initially was like, Red is my manager, I called the bullshit, right? I was trying so hard not to say the truth, right? When I was like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's your boyfriend, right? I didn't say it out loud, but like I knew that part. I knew that for sure. You know what I mean? So yeah. Evan, quick TLDR on what was said so far. Rewind the VOD like 5 minutes. That'll give you your TLDR. I literally did everything 5 minutes ago. You can rewind the VOD if you're a sub on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, rewind the VOD there. There you go. Okay. Artistic burnout is real and often unavoidable to those who make a living from their creative work. This is bullshit. Right? I don't even want to read this whole statement. It's a bullshit statement from the manager. Right? Please note that this isn't goodbye. It's just a temporary shift. If it was a temporary shift, why did she make a doc on her 2 weeks later? Right? This isn't goodbye. It's a temporary shift as she explores new opportunities to work with other creators. We're absolutely open to revisiting the collaborations in the future. After all, Nanolis plus Cinder has always been a slam dunk combo. Why does this sound like it was written by ChatGPT? I ask for your understanding during these uncertain times and urge you to resist the temptation to reach out to Nano directly. This is a difficult time for her as well, and she needs the space to gather her thoughts in these moments in reflection. She gathered evidence and made a doc. Wait, is this manager real? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I see no other way this happened other than being an X Factor. Like, it might be an asshole, but even I don't spew shit like this. It was, you can tell by the dashes. Oh, was it? Double dash after goodbye is 100% AI. Oh, no. Oh. Akira messaged the chat first, renamed the chat to Nanolis Commission, showing that I didn't make the group chat or initiating the conversation. Akira says Nano meaning to say this for a while, but everything Akira described, she never showed anything remotely similar to. This is true. This is true. Okay, they're just asking about it. Nano's taking time to recover from her burnout. When she's feeling better, we'd love to revisit the idea of future collaborations. In the meantime, if you have any project with the pressing deadline that Nano can't take on, I'll personally facilitate another high caliber artist who can handle commission to make sure Cinder gets the high quality artwork associated so we don't create a roadblock. And Red's just trying to work through it. Yeah, it's. I'm gonna be honest with you. Red doesn't seem to back down. Red's like, okay, cool, that's fine. Right? Yeah. Okay, so that's evident enough. Let's see. Just ask for clarification. It'll affect my Cinder's plan for the future. Is Nano taking a break from commissions in general for the next few months due to burn out from the back-to-back projects, and then things will resume normal, but maybe more time between these things, or after her break, she's decided not to work with us in the scale that she's been now. Thanks for the help. It's still too early to say, but we we resume the collaborations. I believe doing smaller scale projects first, like screens and whatnot, would be ideal. Well, given the timeline, let's say she's back in July. The next and last thing after Syngeon's Demon model update was a new outfit model project we showed her recently. It's planning to debut in August, and there will be enough time for it to be done. I know you're saying this wouldn't be the type of project she'd want to take on soon, but I could get concrete answers on this outfit project specifically sooner rather than later. It would help us figure out on our end. And one more thing, were there any other factors from her perspective that led to the decision of artistic burnout? I'll bring it up with her, and then they said, no, as far as I understand, this just a case of artistic burnout and the pressure she feels to prove herself. So they asked, hey, why is she suddenly trying to step away? And they just said artistic burnout. And then 2 weeks later, Nano drops a doc where she lies her ass off. And Red just keeps asking, like, how realistic it is for her to work again. And then Red's like, you know, can you just please tell us if Nano is coming back and when it should be and what have you? And this person is just like, I don't know. Okay. Because Red likes working with Nano. I get that. He mentioned that a billion times. So he just kept asking. And then the reasoning Akira gave didn't make sense because Nano showed no signs of burnout. That is true. Nano kept saying that she would do whatever they wanted. Nano literally consistently kept saying that they'd do whatever Cinder wanted. That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. Interesting. I think we need to hold judgment until we finish the doc. After Akira's messages, I was heartbroken, distraught, and didn't know where to go from here. Akira asked for Nano not to be contacted, and despite everything, I still respected Nano enough not to reach out. That's what she felt. Red reassured me that things would be okay, and we'd work with Nano again when she was ready. And there was nothing that I could think of as to why Nano would come to this decision. Without saying anything to me at all, I canceled my family stream I was supposed to have that night. And she posted the family thing. And 5 days later, Red asked about it again, saying, yeah, she was very hurt that Nano didn't discuss it with her student. She came to the decision without any warning at all. And then Akira is like, thank you for reaching out. I'm sorry that this came out so suddenly. Nano had been bottling up her own feelings for a while, and then unfortunately led to a recent emergency hospital visit due to stress. This is incredibly painful for her. Please don't view this as a taboo topic, but rather as a much needed pause. Burnout and stress can be easily triggered. I have a genuine question, by the way. But I don't know for sure. But does Nano suffer from like some mental health disorder? Because that's a good word, chat. This is either extremely performative or she has a mental health disorder and for whatever reason did all of this knowing damn well she was in the wrong. BPD would be a thing. I'm not diagnosing her then. I'm just asking the question because I don't know. You know what I mean? Right? I can't say for sure. Wait, one thing I can't say for sure is that everyone in this doc needs therapy. You so right. You're so right. You're so fucking right. All right. She didn't even give us the courtesy to explain herself after years of working together. Instead, said someone we've never even heard of say goodbye to her.
Nano.
We are still on Nano. Red and I were together when Nano posted her document at 1:42 a.m. She was
We're still on Nano.
She was the first one to post around the time Red sent her a DM saying, Nano, please, but deleted it right after I messaged her, Nano, can we talk? But deleted it too, and then removed us as friends on Discord, and we couldn't contact her again. That's interesting, though. Why make a document when you're burnt out and then claim people manipulated you when you asked for these things? That's fucked. That's fucked. All right, Bow, 100 pages. 100 pages of Bow. Before we do Bow, can I use the fucking bathroom? All right. Can I use the fucking bathroom, chat? I need to pee. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right. Hey, you know, coordinated bathroom break, okay? No, we all need to go. All right. I listen, man. BRB. BRB.
The section is over. Get food, drink. Go to the toilet, stretch, please.
Oh, no. Hey, listen, I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to order breakfast. All right. Canna saying keep going. Canna, what the fuck? Be right back. Hold on. Bring the toilet. Dem just went live and it's still I am still covering this. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm going to be here for a while. I think we can get through this document within the next 6 hours, though. I think we could finish it. It'll probably be a 12-hour stream for sure. But I think I can finish this entire doc. Take the gamer bottle. Be right back. Here's 20 subs. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. You have an hour. You have an hour, chat. Uninspired, thank you for the 10 gifted! Hey, Google, set time for 1 hour. There you go. There you go. Chat, that's up to you, man. It's up to you, chat. It's up to you. Is this song artist Daddy Fat Snaps? It absolutely is, chat. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Is that Thimble Winter with the 10? What? Thimble Winter! Holy crap! You actually did it! Hey, Google, stop timer! What the hell? Tomato sauce, cheese, pepperoni, maybe a pineapple if you're absolutely insane, and various other toppings that so many crazy people came up with. So, Nutella is a very interesting choice to want to put on a pizza. But today, we're going to be trying Nutella on pizza because, well, that's what a VTuber did. Also, I don't have a knife, so I've just kind of been fingering my pizza. Fingering my pizza? What am I saying? Fingering my pizza. That's crazy. That's insane. I should be put down. I should be stopped for the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. Let's just try it though. Putting Nutella on pizza feels wrong, but I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Ah! I'm an idiot, apparently.
Sarhika! Thank you for the bits. You've got incoming UAV. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Genuine question. If I text a woman, I'll kiss you, bitch, can that be used against me in the court of law as sexual assault in the future? Or is that like sweet and kind? Right? Like this is like a genuine question. Okay. Second question. How do you unsend a text message? What did I dream about? That's for me to know and for you not to find out. No, I'm not going to tell you. No, it's not embarrassing. I just want to keep it to myself. And I wouldn't do the story justice if I tried to retell it. Of course it was about you. Who else would I dream about, baby? It's only you. No, it wasn't a bad dream. Quite the opposite, actually. Anyway, what do you want to do today, my love? I was thinking we could go on a Sunday adventure. Maybe get some froyo, go to the boardwalk and get some fries. Oh, yeah, the park sounds good, too. I love that idea. How long do you want to cuddle before we get ready? This is the worst time to get a raid! Twink. And I don't think I'm on the path to becoming a twink if I'm lifting weights. You know what I mean? Like, twinks are supposed to be really skinny, really chill. You know, I want to twinkify a Benito. Lemon juice burns fat. Okay, so we're going to try the lemon juice thing because I want to be God's greatest twink. You know what I mean? I want people to look at me and think, damn, he's fuckable. That's the plan, at least. A straight twink. Can twinks not be straight? Are twinks gay? Are twinks gay? The term twink primarily refers to a gay man. Chat. All right, I'll let you know. Enjoy yourselves and have a great time.
See, so nice.
Damn, no one's donating $1. You're lucky. You're not gonna hand reveal? Oh, hand reveal, dude. Damn, it's crazy.
That makes me mad.
All right, anyway, chat. I'm heading out.
There we go.
You showing off the fucking nails and
Yeah.
everything? That's
Come
crazy.
here, Evan.
Okay, I'm ending stream. I'm ending stream, chat. I'm ending. I'm not gonna like treat you as a lesser human being. I'll see you in person, be like, yo, what's up? I'll talk to you like a normal human being, and I'll bring this up and be like, yo, have you done better? Are you repenting? Are you thinking of your actions? What have you done to prove yourself? That was a shit ass apology, dumbass. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, damn. When I was in Barbados, a kid laughed at me, put it in me.
Wait. I have a question. Can you say chicken jockey in that voice?
Wait.
Chicken jockey?
You.
Can you chicken
Fine.
jockey?
Say. He's lining it up.
Oh.
Clippers, get ready.
Chicken jockey.
Oh my god, that was banana.
Blue lost right now. Like normally when I'm lost, I'll like be like, yo, chat, can I get some help? And for now I don't feel that way. Oh my god! What the fuck? Mari. You scared the fuck out of me. Holy shit.
Do these things.
No, I didn't do anything. Nope. You know what his words were? He was like, I'm gonna tell you his exact words. He was like, there cannot be another nigga that's into VTubers. And then he tackled me. That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he fucking said.
Well, now I gotta follow this guy. That's
Oh,
pretty funny.
fuck you.
That's funny. That's really funny. That's so funny. Wow, I like this heavenly person. He bullies my best friend. I like that. I want to go meet him now.
Hey, fuck. Hey, it's recording. Hey, chat wants me to ask you if it's okay that I have a crush on Inksy, the VTuber, but like you have a crush on like, you know, Ebiko, right? the VTuber. So like it's fair. Like I feel like it's fair game. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, they're making me ask you this. And also it's gonna be in the video that I'm sending you this message. So this is just to make sure that like I don't get in trouble. Right? So there you go. What do you mean it's not the same? They're asking if it's not the same now. Shut up, chat. Okay, see, I'm talking to chat now and this is awkward. There you go. I sent it. I actually sent it to her. But I literally sent it. You know, if you guys want a gotcha roll to help reach the sub goal and see me in a maid outfit at TwitchCon, then sure, you could do that.
Will you wear fake titties?
Yep, there you go. No.
About like the internet.
You hear that, chat? Therapists. That's what VTubers need, not managers. They need fucking therapists, right? These bitches are crazy, and that's no offense. They are though. They actually kind of are. They just need therapy. I think most VTubers just do.
Together we wrote.
Do you recognize her, chat? It just, you know, there's no defining features at all whatsoever to recognize her. I'm trying to get them in frame. Oh. I too recognize my Koro by her tits. What can I say? So the only recognizable thing on her. I'm kidding. No. Here's $50. All right, let's keep going. Heavenly is funny. If Evan would be a full VTuber, he'd form a group of black men and say the N-word like he wanted. Excuse me? Why am I saying the N-word? What is this talk about the N-word? Okay. All right. Bao has always been a great friend to me, and I couldn't own up to being a terrible person to her when I was my apology. I neglected Bao the same as a lot of her friends of mine. But more than the others in my closest circle, there was so much I couldn't explain in my apology about what happened between Red and I over Bao that is all presented below. Because of Red's resentment towards her after he thought she went out of her way to sabotage us at the end of last year, she became a sore topic between us. My partner's opinion and my friend pressured me to treat her differently to avoid any conflict between us. I never tried to talk to Bao about this because I didn't agree with Red to begin with, and I didn't want to start any drama between us.
Did I jump scare you? Yeah.
Can we say something? Right? He wanted a black group. That's crazy. I was ignorant to the way she felt isolated from me and our other friends earlier this year. She was hurting and I didn't do anything about it. I am sorry to her for never addressing the problem when I could have, and I'm sorry I made her feel unwanted. So, you know what this comes back to once again? Remember when I said very specifically, Red and Cinder seem to be in a toxic relationship where, while I do personally believe they should break up, it seems that they stick with each other because they don't know anything better? Remember that? It's more evident here, I'd say, because she knows that Red doesn't like Bao, and instead of like trying to communicate that, she tries to avoid the conflict with her partner and just goes along with what he says. Right? Like that's crazy. You know what I mean? It is what it is, though. Poor Bao, she didn't deserve it. No, she absolutely didn't. Right? These folks don't know how to act like adults at all. My factory job is nothing like this. True. I knew Bao had a model plan with Nano. She showed it to me at WeebCon in March of last year, and I knew the model was canceled in August before she told me and our friends. I was told that Nano chose to cancel Bao's model so she could focus on her own content. I had no reason to ask to read Red's messages myself when it happened. When Bao messaged me and our friends, I felt bad that I already knew about it. I saw how excited she was about this model, and I didn't do anything to try to help her. I was under my impression that this was what Nano wanted, and I've always been on Nano's side about, you know, who she chose, what she chose to work on. As far as I was aware, Bao didn't have any plans with Nano for a model again. After that, I didn't know it was ever replanned or that Red brought up Bao in the Nano to Nano in our exclusivity deal in January. I did not and do not agree with what he said about Bao to her then. Bao was recovering from surgery when she was told one of her closest friends betrayed her. I don't know what she was shown or told by Nano and Charlie or our other friends involved when she made her decision to make everything public, but I believe that she was misinformed. I wish she would have talked to me first, but I don't hold that against her. I never talked to her when I knew Red had a problem with her and I was neglecting her, so I didn't deserve that courtesy back. Bao was encouraged to reveal my relationship with Red in her document, but she didn't. I appreciated her choosing not to say anything about it before I did. Even through all of that, Bao was a good person. That's interesting. That's interesting. How would she know that? I don't know. But she clearly has an inside person, but I guess we'll find out later. That's interesting, right? Why be scared of them? Most of these people will be fine on the internet for the most part. They will. Right, I'm sorry to Bao for I completely misjudged her character and jumped to conclusions and made a mistake not only to hurt her with Nano, but continue to hurt her because of my influence on Cinder's actions towards her for months afterwards. I'm ashamed of the way I feel about someone who's only been a supportive friend to us. I am too immature to look past my personal resentment towards her to talk to her about these things that made me feel that way in the first place. I went out of my way to get even with someone and take an opportunity away from them who had only hurt us in my own headcanon. I also want to apologize to Bao, reassuring Nano it was okay to cancel her model last August. I was only considering Nano's feelings and how it would affect us, and not Bao. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be real with you. The only thing he did wrong was repeat what Nano was saying about Bao in January, but before that, I think realistically, he was fine, right? Like, he was just being like, yo, Nano, just do whatever the fuck is you feel is good, right? All right, below I've laid out everything related to Bao that are relevant to everything explained. Okay, let's get through it. The video editor thing. These are just the same screenshots. This is just all the same information, okay? Oh, this document becomes easier to read when you realize that it's the same screenshots. After Nano's said she was rethinking her wait list, I said I won't stop her if she wanted to make more time for us. She responded saying that she was thinking about getting rid of later ones. I thought Nano should keep Bao on her list because she was his friend, but I didn't want to take a solid stance and Nano was thinking about removing her herself. Nano said here she really wants to work about. Right? Some potential growth for Red. Nano told me Bao's model was planned for June. Yeah, these are the same screenshots. All right, WeebCon is where Bao showed us her new model design. Nano was working on it. Bao messaged Red about doing a cover. Okay, we saw the fucking other stuff before. Okay, they all talk about doing a song, Bao, Numi, and Cinder. 3 days later, Bao messaged me and told me in her project server for the song, this was the first thing she said to me about it. Red never told me Bao said anything about Numi's inclusion in the 3 days since, and only told me it'd be a duet when talking to me about it. Numi being included wasn't a problem at all, and the three of us did covers together. All right, they got invited to server. I thought it was just two of us. Maybe Red didn't tell me everything. Bro, it was Yumi and Numi. I told Red that you didn't join then and it would be Numi instead. He told me you said it was a duet. I was just confused. Okay, so Red didn't communicate things correctly. That's fair. These are Red DMs with Nano leading up to when she canceled Bao's model. Okay, we read these already. Red asked Nano if she knew when Bao's model was going to debut so we could plan our schedule around it like we've done in the past. We know this information. Yes. We saw all that already. Okay, we got all this information earlier. Nana told me she didn't want to take anyone from her public commission so she could do more streaming herself. We know that information. None of this is new. Hmm. Yeah, none of this information. Yeah, this is all the same information. Okay. Yeah, Nano said that she would cancel the information. And cancel the model. Yep. Okay, so this is the same information for the most part. And I'm assuming it's for people who choose to just skip to these parts. So realistically, I know it's a 1,000-page doc, but it's not actually 1,000 pages when you consider the fact that they're just rehashing information for the people who just want to skip to specific parts, right? So what this section is reiterating is Nano's a liar, right? We're coming to these conclusions unless we find anything new here. Yeah, these are the same screenshots. Yeah, these are the exact same screenshots, exact same conversations. Yep. Most of the people who work IRL jobs don't act like this because they know this BS won't fly. People need to stop acting weird. True. Yeah, these are still the same screenshots. We went over all this. Yeah, so this is literally okay, wait, this is new information. All right. This was the day of my last one-on-one collab with Bao. She asked me to make a clay animals together on 8/3/24, and it took us 3 weeks to get materials delivered and finally scheduled. We ended up making VTuber mascots. I was happy Bao wanted to do something artsy together since I already did my own crafting streams and I wasn't able to do hand cam streams. Okay, so they just had a collab. All right. Bao released her song featuring other friends alongside her. This event is here because of what I watched Bao say on her stream, either on the day the song was released or sometime in a couple weeks before then. She was talking about how difficult, frustrating, and time consuming it was to work with inexperienced singers on music projects, and that she would rather work with V singers from now on who know what they were doing and can match her high skill level. This was her closest friends that she was talking about live on stream. I couldn't find an archive VOD of the stream anywhere to prove it happened. What I remember is how it made me think Bao viewed her friends and how I felt about it. So I was right. Red was just being overprotective about his girlfriend again. See, this is just more proof. Like Bao, he's assuming that Bao was talking shit about his girlfriend and he went into defense mode. You know what I mean? At this time, Bao knew me and I were working on a song. She will cover. Red told me this and it made me anxious about the song, and I felt like I had a lot of pressure on me to do well. I barely had any singing experience and wasn't anywhere near Bao's level, but she asked me to be a part of this and I wanted to do my best for her, right? It's not meant to be an apology, not an apology in document, which screenshots just telling us more of the full story that we didn't have before. No, exactly. I think we need to hold judgment until more comes out. What more could come out? Everyone canceled her and then she came back with the receipts against them. What more could they say? They gave all of their evidence as to why she's a bad person, and she's giving all of her evidence as to why she's not, and why they all grossly misinterpreted the situation. If there is more to come out, it would have to be Nano saying, oh shit guys, I'm sorry, I lied to all of you. That's the only thing I see coming out of this, unless somehow, some way, in some regard, a forensic expert tells me that all this is fabricated. Right? Like, realistically speaking, I don't think that there is more that could come out of this except Nanolist saying, oh shit, I fucking lied. You know? Lily said that there was more that no one knows about. You know what? That is fair. I guess. Okay, but here's the thing though. If there is quote unquote more that no one knows about, right? One, why not bring that up? Two, why then cancel her for manipulating an artist? That's what the cancellation was about, right? Manipulating this artist to undercut your friends, right? That was the big claim. And if that is true, right, from everything that they said, we still know that Nanoless lied. So what, like, they would need to show the other evidence of Cinder doing those things. But in the event of Nanoless did lie. You know? Like, it would just be that Nano lied. Nano lied and caused all of this to happen. Right? I was mostly saying that to chat though. Sorry, Evan. No, you're good. I was just asking. You're right. Like, I feel like, you know, ultimately, like everything just comes back to Nano, right? How do you manipulate an artist though? Sounds like Nano overbooked and didn't want to say no to those who will pay the big buck. I think Lily said that there was a bunch of very private stuff and info left out. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Like maybe they like, I don't know, didn't like the other person's eyeliner or some shit. I don't fucking know. All right, there are 3 things that happened at TwitchCon last year that further formed my opinion. I had a bow. The first night there, Cinder, her friends, and I went out to dinner somewhere nice. Bao was supposed to be here with us, but never showed up. It was the first chance the close friends had to see each other in months in person away from work, and she blew them off. Everyone present was talking about her not being there. One of her friends was telling us they were working on a song with Bao. Bao asked about them having a music video to go with it. The song was making with Cinder at the time was planned to have a music video, and they weren't planning on having one for the song with Bao. They said that Bao got upset with them, guilt tripping them over a decision about her own content. This reinforces what I had told Nano about Bao. The last night before everyone went home, the friends were planning to go to dinner. I ended up getting sick and stayed behind in the group chat while they were figuring out where to eat. Bao said that she wanted to go somewhere fancy or she wasn't going. Damn, Bao, you rich like that? Let's go somewhere fancy or I won't go. So the last night everyone was together, but there were still caveats and had to just spend time with their friends. Neither Cinder or I have access to this group chat anymore. Right? Let's see. She was doing this for last 5 months. Interesting. At a party at TwitchCon where we met Sakamore, Bao's video editor, he came to me and said that he'd love to work together and make music video for me. Which is why Red would ask him to make the video. Okay, so we know about this conversation already. All right, there are 2 things that happened in Japan. Bao got mad at another one of our friends for something that happened in a restaurant with a rude owner. She got pissed and yelled at and belittled our friend when they did nothing wrong. They confided in Cinder and I afterwards and were very upset over it, but it was fine because they said that's just how Bao is. You know what I will say? Again, I have nothing against Bao. I really don't. I really don't have anything against her. But you know what the crazy part is, right? All right, with the shit that I went through with Bao, ultimately the conversations with everyone came down to this one quote. That's just how Bao is. Everyone just excuses Bao's actions and just says that's just how she is. And you know what? I too excuse her actions because I said, you know what? I don't care. She's really young. It doesn't affect my fucking life. You know what I mean? So it is wild to me to see another person say that someone else mentioned those exact same words. That's just how Bao is. That's wild. That's actually just wild. Everyone got together for what we called our Canadian Thanksgiving dinner, since it was a few days earlier. It was last night and the friends would be together just like TwitchCon. And again, Bao never showed up. She said that she was on her way. Then sometime later said, never mind, she's not coming. And we were aware at this time that we'd see each other until 2025. After TwitchCon in Japan, I was pretty convinced about how I thought Bao viewed and valued her friends outside of making content together. I experienced these things in Japan and TwitchCon too. I was put off by them in a moment, but I didn't think about them beyond when they had happened. You know what? I mean, fair, I guess. Obviously, yeah, we don't have proof that any of this happened. And to be fair, I don't give a shit. Right? Yeah, Bao's a shitty friend. Okay. Who gives a fuck? Not me. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Bao's a shitty friend. There you go. All right, so this is more music video stuff. We saw this in the last doc. I don't really care to see this anymore. Yeah, we saw a lot of the music stuff in the last thing. Really don't care to rehash any of this music stuff. This has nothing to do with any of the information I really care about. This is the whole conversation, by the way. Jesus Christ, this is inflating the size of the document. Right? Just a bit like, okay, where does this come into the situation? Kind of, yeah, this is like, I don't care. This is all right. Here we go. We're good. Bao's comment on the video. My new music group, Bao's, first premiered our first song at the end of November. Red and I were going through the comments, and we both saw Bao's. He didn't want me to like hers, so I gave in just to satisfy him. At the end of the day, It was just a comment. So Red just didn't want Cinder to like Bao's comment to be petty. Interesting. Okay. That's a stupid petty thing to do, Red. You know, point against Red again. I'll get, you know, -1 Red. Yeah, Red being a red flag again, guys. -1 Red. For the past few months, I had pretty solid opinion of how I thought Bao viewed her friends, so I told Cinder that she didn't like it. I was persistent about it, so she listened to me. It was very petty of me towards a friend showing support. Yeah, extremely petty, bro. Extremely petty. Yeah, I just want you to know I'm going through this doc right now, and I have decided that no matter what we go through, we should like just talk about it, because I'm sure that we're stronger than whatever the hell these guys are on. Anyway, I love you, and I hope you slept well. These people are fucking insane, dog. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're on. These people are crazy. Your Red is so negative, he might as well be the U.S. debt. I'm sorry. Why am I laughing at that? That's so funny. That's extremely fucking funny. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, I had to send that message to Bella. The more you get into this, the more I feel like Cinder would have been better spot today if it wasn't for her manager. Yeah, like I said, when she initially threw Red under the bus, I thought that was stupid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I even said it myself that was stupid. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna walk that back because I think a lot of her issues are caused by him. Right? I think a lot of them, like Nanoless is a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong. But like Red then went out of their way to be petty. You know what I mean? Yeah, Red talks a lot. Red is basically a very bad micromanager. No, exactly. I mean, to be fair though, and it's probably again because of the thing that couples do, right? And I mentioned this before. It's just because when one party in the couple doesn't like someone, right? Like this is a thing that not every couple does, but some couples do. I think a lot of couples do, right? Like where like, you know, if your partner doesn't like someone, you're like, okay, I guess if you don't like them, we collectively don't like them. You know, it's just a decision that couples make, right? It's a very toxic thing. Don't get me wrong, but I think that most couples just do it. You know what I mean? Like the person's like, I don't like this person, and collectively you decide, okay, we don't like them, right? And I think that's what Cinder fell into here, you know, and it's unfortunate. It's normally a younger couple thing. No, it is. It absolutely is, right? Yeah, I mean, manager's a real loose term for what Red is. It is a loose term. It's her boyfriend. It's her fucking boyfriend, right? Partner, sorry, I should say, right? It's so very toxic. It absolutely is. Let's see. All right, let's see. Bao never messaged us before, like this before, and it was just right after the boss was popping off. I know just friends while I was opposed to doing things with her completely, but the timing was suspicious to me after the past few experiences with her. I saw this as her trying to gain something from us, so I brushed her off. What stood out to me is that she addressed Cinder specifically as the lead singer of Boss Rush. Okay, and then this is just the editor shit again. Again, I don't care about the editor shit. I read message our video editor about music videos editors and what happened with Sack. They're close with and works with Bao and her other editors, including Sack. Okay, so they were just asking if they knew other editors. Okay. Yeah, Sack said he wanted to work on his own videos, right? But then he said that he's going fully in-house on Bao, which I think Red, you know, probably misinterpreted. Okay. Another thing that has been mentioned up to this point was what Bao thought of her own music through the years. She would talk publicly in her Discord server about how depressed she was about her own songs, about how nothing she did was performing well, and guilt tripping her fans about not liking them or listening to them due to low view count, ignoring theirs. Okay. Red, why are we throwing Bao under the bus? Red, you could have gotten away with murder, and everyone would have been on your side in this document if you didn't throw Bao under the bus. Bao is the victim here. Like, Bao is a victim. Like, brother, you could have blamed Nano, and everybody would have been like, you go, Red. You're innocent. But throwing Bao under the bus here, I don't care if Bao's a shitty person. All right? She might be, for all we fucking know. I don't give a shit. But throwing her under the bus, saying that she mistreats her fans and shit like that, now you got people on your ass again. Bro, you could have won. Edit the doc. Delete this part. Bro, Red will be Cinder's undoing. I feel like people will see this entire fucking document, dismiss everything that Nanoless did, only to fucking focus in on Red being like, oh yeah, no, Bao mistreats her fans. Like, you stupid motherfucker. If you just didn't say this, everyone would be on your side. Bro, Cinder needs to break up with this guy. Bro, Cinder just needs to break up with this guy, bro. Bro, this is crazy talk right now. The only songs from last year that I can imagine she would consider successful were Miss RBG, Natural Disaster, and the She Will cover, all of which include her friends. When I told Nano that Bao's song flopped, I was referring to how Bao thought one of them, implying that though it was motivation for her to do what I was telling Nano. Music that had dozens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views, wasn't good enough for Bao, although I didn't elaborate in any to that Nano. In my opinion, all of her songs performed fine, if not great. I don't know why she needed views to validate music she made if it was something she enjoyed doing in the first place. I know how this reasoning sounds when you look at it, my messages to Nano, and it doesn't look good on me. Yeah, no, what you're saying here doesn't look good on you, you fucking idiot. Bro, I hate Red, bro. Bro, Cinder could have walked away, and everybody would have been like, you know what, Cinder, we're sorry. But Red fucking drags her down, bro. Yeah, no, you're right. This was easy not to fumble, but this one statement from Red drags her down, bro. Holy fucking shit. Oh my God. Yeah. How did Cinder let him say this? I don't know. If I were her, she should just break up with him because of this. You know what I mean? It's basically, I'm leaving Red. 5 months later, I'm back with Red. We're banned from Bao's Secret Service, so I didn't have any evidence to this happen. I don't know if Bao's messages about this still exist. I don't know. There's plenty of Bao buddies out there who would remember this, but Bao's TMG, she talked about it in her Discord. Had nothing to do with anything I said to Nano, and it wasn't something I even considered. Another similar instance I remember happening in Bao's server was on Cinder's birthday last year when her and Bao and her friends were playing Jackbox. Cinder was streaming and invited them all to play. Bao was streaming her end first, but abruptly ended not too long after starting. I checked her Discord server to see if anyone knew what happened. Bao was chatting in a public channel saying her CCV was too low to keep streaming and no one cared about her watching. Her community was trying to encourage her and support her, but I remember she replied to fans saying something like, "Stop fucking talking." Yes. And no, we're throwing Bao into the bus, but this is so funny. Don't let this man cook. L red indeed, bro. Bro, what? Bro, what the fuck? This is so stupid. This is how she talked directly to her fans, supporting her and while to collaborate her friend's birthday and all this. More concerned about her numbers rather than having a good time together. I don't know if these messages still exist either, but about her music wasn't the only time that she'd berate herself into server and guilt trip her fans. So Red saying Bao's shitty because she guilt trips her fans. right? Here's a part of the full VOD. Oh, I'm too lazy to click this, bro. One thing I found about putting this argument together was this tweet from Bao earlier this year on blah, 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 and indirectly supports the above. Bao said that she was struggling with an unhealthy work-life balance like us. She wasn't enjoying content creation, implying that she was too focused on the numbers, and what she did was never enough for her. So you're corroborating your evidence that you don't have with a tweet that Bao did have when she says that. You could have left Bao out of this. I'm going to be honest. If you left, like, if you just left Bao out of this, you would have won. Like, it's like you had the pot of gold underneath the rainbow. Like, you were there. You were in the fucking the end zone or whatever the fuck they call it in football. And then you fucking fumbled so goddamn hard because you decided to try to throw Bao under the bus. That is insane. Yeah, no, they should not have included this. Right? Valerie just said she doesn't like people joking about her singing like this. Like, it's so surprising. Yeah. With everything I've seen or heard and experienced with around Bao over the past few months, it all added up. I had come to this conclusion. Bashra's song came out and was performing great right away. Bao, who was upset with her own music performance throughout the year, who really cared about numbers, saw how well the song her music inexperienced friends made was doing. She also found out her video editor, Sack, made the music video for us. That made her upset. She messaged Cinder and I about doing something together in the week that followed, calling Cinder the lead singer of Bashra's, but we turned her down. She was also turned down about doing a music video with another friend recently, and she was guilt-tripped about it. And now us refusing to make content with her made things worse. She must have spoken to Sack sometime after about how depressed she was over all this, guilt-tripping him about everything she had done for him into not working with anyone else going forward. When Sack told me why he made his decision to go exclusive, he emphasized how indebted to Bao he was, which would make sense if he was guilt-tripped. This is speculation. We have no proof. Right? So I don't really care about this. I also think you're stupid for including Bao. Also, why did we allow Red to speak? Why did we allow Red to talk this much on Bao? Like literally, like, why? He's making you look bad. He's making, like, Cinder. I don't understand. Are you the bottom in this relationship? Could you not tell this nigga no? I'm confused. I'm actually confused. You know what I mean? Who gave Red the keyboard? Dude, it's insane. Who gave Red the keyboard? Cinder, apparently. That's her fault this time? Yeah. I mean, again, bro, it's so crazy that I predicted this, even without reading the whole doc, that Cinder's greatest crime is dating Red. It is insane to me that her biggest fucking crime is dating this stupid, idiotic motherfucker. It's so crazy. Sure, there were times before this I thought Bao could be whiny or pushy, but I never held anything against her before. Now I was convinced that she herself is only cared about her friends. When Clout was involved and had intentionally screwed us over to jealousy and her friend's success, things that were never a problem to me, or like her working with our same video editor for the past year and a half, suddenly became an issue. Everything I saw over the past few months showed a pattern of behavior that led to this happening. I thought I was crazy for being the only one to see it, with all her friends always giving her behavior pass of that's just how Bao is. I couldn't possibly think her editor just decided to go exclusively with Bao right before Boss Rush just because he wanted to, and Bao had no involvement in his choice. It was completely unbelievable to me that, sorry, just gotta make sure of something real quickly. Okay. If there was a greater explanation or reason behind these events and Bao's actions, I never knew about them. I formed my opinion on what I did know and experience. Like anyone else would, I wasn't founded on jealousy of Bao. And it wasn't just making things up to lie to Nano about her for no reason, but at the same time, I never sought out the truth and never talked about it. I was mad at her already deciding what she did. I thought that if I did bring it up, she'd just lie about it and it wouldn't matter. I had thoroughly brainwashed myself in thinking there was no way this wasn't the case. But as I now know I was wrong, I misinterpreted the situation, misjudged Bao's intentions due to my confirmation bias, going as far as disregarding every positive interaction I had about or any of the good things I've seen her do. Just to fit this narrative, I jumped to my conclusion and doubled down with everything, trying to find out if they were really true or not. But with every little thing that happened, I was so sure that this must have been the case, and I held it against Bao. It was stupid and immature of me, and Bao didn't deserve the way I thought about her or my actions. You just publicly executed her and then apologized by saying it was your own confirmation bias. You're not helping your case. You're not helping your case. Like this is stupid. Hello, Azrael. Welcome in. This part is just absolutely fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like this part is just fucking goddamn insane. And Bao did know about the music video Sak was working on first. I was wrong. While going through my messages from this document, he said as much to me when I first asked him about doing the music video. From the time he said then became exclusive, it had been over 2 months. We had gone to Japan and I had handled conversations with lots of other people every day. I had forgot about it and thought Bao was unaware of him working with us. There was no conversation at the TwitchCon party we were at, and I can remember Bao being a part while talking to Sak specifically about working together. She was there talking to us at different points, but not at the same time. Right? Okay. So you're refuting one of Bao's claim. Cool. I want to say I'm sorry to Sak for pressuring him. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care to read the rest of what Red said here. I think Red is absolutely fucking stupid. I think Red threw Bao under the bus for no fucking reason, right? And because Red threw Bao under the bus, I think a lot of people are just gonna read this part specifically, and it'll invalidate everything else that has happened. I think a lot of people will focus on protecting Bao and forget that Nanoless is a piece of shit. I can see that happening because that's just the way the VTuber community works, right? And it's just dumb. It seems like Red still has issues about, yeah. Can we just agree that Red is a moron and Cinder only crime at the moment is getting into a relationship with him? Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. Like why? Like that's like she should break up with this stupid motherfucker. Red came up with this theory about Bao and brought it to me. This was a verbal conversation, so I have no evidence of it, only of the events around it. I didn't believe Bao would pressure her editor just to hurt us. I was upset about not being able to work with Sak again too, but I told him we'd have to find a new editor when confronted with her actions over the past few times we saw her. I said they weren't a big deal. Red just persistent and went through his evidence over me over and over until I got mad too. I caved on the YouTube comment and I understood what he was saying to me, but I didn't agree with his conclusions, and I was already stressed out because of my new model debut in 3 days, and I was hosting the VTuber Awards pre-show that day, the day before. That was where my fantasy announcement would also be. Another thing I was nervous about doing. Now Red was telling me that he knew one of my friends had personally done this to me. I had defiantly told him it wasn't true and to get over it. Red told me to ask Bao about it, but I told him to, since he was the one with the problem. I had to call out another friend's channel the other day that included Bao. Red wanted to cancel it last minute because she was involved after I had already made the announcement. Okay, Cinder. This is insane to me because it is very evident that the first few sections of the doc that Nanoless is a fucking liar and Red is a fucking idiot. And even now, this section of the doc where Red attacks Bao, you are admitting that you just succumbed to his notions. If anyone was manipulated here, it wasn't Nanoless. It was Cinder. like low key, right? like I don't want to be that guy, but like real talk, you cheated on this nigga and took him back. Admitted that he made the situations worse than they should have been, and still decided to get back with him. That's crazy. They truly are the Bonnie and Clyde of the VTuber sphere. Hey, man. I mean, say what you will about them, though. She is still publicly humiliating him. And I'm wondering if that's their stipulation for getting back together. Like it makes me wonder, right? Where maybe he's like, oh my God, baby girl, please take me back. And she's like, you know what? I will. But only if you admit that it's all your fucking fault. You know? Like that's the one thing. I pray I never find a man like Red. Dude, hey man, I'm gonna just read what Bella said to me again. I'm gonna read it out loud because my God, dude, do I feel very lucky right now. I'm watching your stream, and if you did some whack shit, I'd never make a doc calling you out. I'd defend you even if you were in the wrong, and I'd rather take the fall. It's just true. It's just true, bro. I'm just saying, bro, if Bella got canceled for saying a racial slur, I'd be like, hey man, she didn't do it. I did. You know what I mean? Like, look, all right, guys, I'm just saying, all right? Like, ain't no way I would sit here and be like, yeah, bro, she did it. She fucking did it. She's better than me. I'd be like, damn, you fucked up. Well, she definitely would tell me that in private, but like public, like the way Bella and I operate is that publicly, even if we don't agree with each other, we're on each other's side, right? Because, you know, stronger together in the public eye, right? But like, I don't know. Like, if I have a problem with her, I don't make that a public issue. I don't throw her under the bus publicly. You know what I mean? It's just you figure that out after. Right? I'd be the first to expose my lover for some fuck shit, not gonna lie. Fair enough. Like I said, they share a single brain cell. Redacted section, she mentioned that he is the reason that she managed to get into content creation. So without Redacted, she would never have the great content made by Cinder. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mentioned, so initially, you can go back to my VOD because I did say this in my first VOD or video about the whole Cinder situation. But I said there is a small but very unlikely chance that like Red dictates everything that happens in their relationship. And if that's the case, then I could see how everything is his fault. And more that we see Cinder talk about this stuff, it is becoming more evident to me that Red dictates everything that happens in this relationship. And realistically speaking, I think I was cooking. I think I was cooking back then, bro. Even still, Red has no business being anybody's manager. Yeah. He's a very protective partner. That's good. But yeah. Do you think Cinder will return to streaming? Yeah, she said she would. I mean, she mentioned going forward, right? She would make different changes with streaming and shit. So I do think she'll go live. I think she goes live. Okay, what is this? All right, this is screenshot. I didn't want to hear it. It got upset and went to bed from the stress because of our fight. I was asleep and missed the Okami sequel announcement. I should have about it when I woke up. So she had an argument trying to defend her friend, and Red was like, nah. Neither of us ever talked about this. Even a few days earlier, she had started a group chat with both of us. It was my fault for never trying to clear things up when I had the chance. I just wanted to go away with keep peace between me and my friends. Okay, and then Red says, regardless of how I personally feel about Bao now, I still friendly towards her. The couple of times I talked to her afterwards, she was still Cinder's friend. I asked Bao for advice about something work related in December, and this last time I spoke to her was the end of the year when her, Cinder, and their friends were dealing with something else going on. Getting even with Bao wasn't something I ever thought about doing until the opportunity came up going to Nano about exclusivity. So dumb, bro. So dumb. So fucking dumb. Man doesn't like her, but still talks work to her. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, you don't have to like someone to be able to work with them, right? Like, that makes sense to me. Like, I don't like every creator. I'll still fuck with you though, right? I was at my friend's collab next day when Bao missed. Sorry, I read something in chat. It was someone summarizing. Bao missed me afterwards, apologizing for something that happened on stream. I didn't see her message right away because of everything I had going on that weekend. I replied after the VTA pre-show was over. I thought about saying something about what Red told me, but I didn't. I didn't want to start anything over what I believed to be nothing in the first place. But I had a hard time talking about things in general. I trusted Bao. I was still mad at Red, and my new debut was the next day. Okay. We're sorry I spaced out, and then I was like, no one saw my promise. I would never ever forget you or your music. I was running purely in time. Okay, so it's just friends catching up, but being shitty at catching up. That's fine. Okay, artist one started working with Bao. Regular people work with. I was like, no. Okay, Red got mad because artist one started working with Bao. Sacramore started working with Bao exclusively. We know this already, right? And then, okay, we're talking about the exclusivity deal again. And then they talked to Nano about the exclusivity. And then they talked to Nano about like not accepting Silverville stuff specifically. Right? It seems realistically Cinder may have had a problem with Silverville, right? But that issue stemmed from Red's problem with Silverville. Red had a problem with Bao, which made Cinder have a problem with Bao, right? And Red had mentioned a problem with Shy Lily, which I'm going to assume then will make Cinder have a problem that extends to, that extends to Shy Lily. While Nano initially lied, Red is a fucking idiot. But okay. This is when Nano and Red made their exclusivity. I didn't know Red was planning to talk to her about it today. Okay, we talked about this before. Yada yada. Okay, we yada yada. Yep, we went over this already. So this is just rehashing literally everything that Nanoless did again, where Nanoless lied.
Can you read? What are you, stupid?
Red is talking about the music video to Nano again. Nano being excited about canceling on Bao. We know about that already because we went over that.
That's so embarrassing.
And then this is just them rehashing their statement from earlier. And then Cinder was told that Nano agreed to not work with Silverville. And then Red never told me that Bao and Cotton were ever talked about or including their original argument, or that Bao had a model that was canceled. Their deal didn't include part of Nano not taking on new bottle clients we had talked about before. But I was okay with leaving it as I was told it was okay. Okay. There's nothing tangible I can show to prove that I didn't know what happened between them. I can't prove I didn't know something. You know what? Fair statement. I didn't tell Cinder everything because I knew she would disagree with me on Bao and get pissed. We knew about that. Certainly after the deal was made with Nano, he told me about it. Red messaged Artist One about our thoughts on their agreement. And yep, we know about Artist One trying to get the exclusivity deal again. That is just being rehashed here. And then Nano cancels the exclusivity. Okay, we already know about that. All right, and then the proof again. And then the last DMs with Bao. Yeah, I saw the drill allegations a while ago and just spiraling. Okay, fair. Okay, being a bad friend, compromising with Red and Boss Rush. After our argument in December, Red and I didn't talk about Bao again until sometime after my Haven Hound debut. He pressured me to not interact with her professionally anymore. I wasn't going to agree to that, but I didn't want this to cause problems between us at home. Bao was a friend that lived across the country. I only saw every few months, and I didn't do things often with. I lived with Red, so I chose to do just enough to keep the peace. Finding a middle ground between us, I didn't plan anything with Bao one-on-one, which we rarely did. So she lives at Red's house, right? She made that clear. She lives in Red's parents' basement, I think, was what she was saying, right? From my understanding, but it was very easy for her to move back home when she had internet issues, right? And that's what she mentioned. She lived at Red, and it is my assumption that she's living in his parents' basement, right? Because she said she lived in the basement with Red, right? If she's living in a basement at Red's place, I would assume it's his parents' house. You know what I mean? So like, it makes sense to me, right? That's all of it started, Doc. Okay. So, I mean, it could be his house. I don't fucking know. But why else would she want to build her own house? You know what I mean? So I'm assuming it's his parents' house. You know, so yeah. She's moving like she broke. No, she's building a house. She's like, she mentioned that, right? Her dad is building her a house. So, and she wants to live with her partner. That's fine. You know, that's fine. So that makes sense. And also she said she lived with him because he knew about streaming and shit when she didn't. Thank you for the dollar dono. I really appreciate it. Girth Demon. I think it was her parents' basement because of internet issues. Oh, at Red's place temporarily. Wait, so she lived in her parents' basement, not Red's basement, and then went to Red's house temporarily? Okay. I'm just trying to understand whose basement it was. Right? Red is not a neckbeard. I can assure you that. I've met him IRL. He's a very good-looking guy. Okay. Okay. It doesn't really matter whose basement it is, to be fair. Right? Like, it doesn't matter. So yeah, so she didn't want to fight with Red, so she just let it slide. I didn't plan anything with Bowen, which we already rarely did. I didn't raid her in the times I was able, and I didn't retweet artwork of us together on my Not Safe for Work Twitter account. Red didn't want to include Bowen. Anything boss related, I include collabs. So Red said, hey, don't do things with Bao, and Cinder said, okay. How are we not seeing that Red's the problem, bro? You know what? I don't think Cinder can see the color red because clearly she labeled his shit as blue. Sorry, I had to make the joke. I had to make the joke, chat. I'm sorry. It was there. The fucking sun is up right now, bro. I usually would be waking up to go to the gym in 2 hours. Obviously, that's not happening because I've been reading this fucking document for the past 7. But dogs do be colorblind. Oh my god. It was wrong of me to push my feelings about Cinder's friends onto her and expect her to essentially cut her off. Initially in December, I didn't want Cinder, the brand, to interact with Bao at all. I didn't want Bao to be included in anything Boss related, either because I thought their music video was the motivation to make SAC go exclusive. I took what I thought happened as Bao acting against all 3 of the girls, not just Cinder. After my deal with Nano, I considered us even, and by the time Nano walked her deal back, I didn't care to find out if Bao's model was canceled. I wasn't angry at Bao anymore. I was just sad on her. I eased up on my feelings towards her with Cinder as months went by, but the way things had been was the way they stayed. I was eventually open to the idea of a 6-person Bosch Rush song with all of Cinder's friends, including Bao. It was in group activities with her and our friends that I still interact with and collaborate about, like always. I was one of the 6 of us that often took the initiative and tried planning things for all of us together. And then it's just Cinder planning stuff and saying that she was like, okay, that's fine. I don't really care to read this DM. I didn't talk to Bao outside of our friend group chat unless she messaged me first, but the same was already true for her before my disagreement read, and for most of all of my other friend groups for a long time. Like I explained in the accountability section of this document, besides our group chat, the exception to that was with Bosch Rush. Since Bosch Rush's inception in March 2024, I've gotten to be much closer friends with Tricky, Vienna, and with other friends. After our first song premiered at the end of November, I chose to focus on doing more together with them. It was much easier to plan things between the 3 of us rather than all 6 of us because of everyone's conflicted schedules and other things they may have had going on. Bosch Rush felt like our version of Bao, Numi, and Charlie's Bikini Bottoms group, making music, collabing together, and doing our own thing outside of plans with everybody. That's fair. That is fair. That's what I assumed it was. Because of this, Red and I felt like Yuzu was left out. I had the idea early on that we'd like to eventually bring Yuzu into Bosch Rush so she would be included in something. The idea came before he even had anything against Bao. These are all Red's messages in our Bosch Rush group chat where he talked about the idea of Yuzu and a song we'd make with her. The first 2 messages are cropped because they're part of the last string. So I don't really care that they're trying to include Yuzu. This has nothing to do with anything, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Why is Yuzu being dragged into this? You know what I mean? Yuzu would have been perfect in it too. Yeah. Your Honor, relevance? There is none. There is none. Okay, in March, Bao asked me and our friends in our group chat about doing a group song together for the end of 2025. In December, I turned her down, but I would have been willing to do one next year. Damn. She said, nah, let's do it in 2026. It wasn't because of Red, and it wasn't because I didn't want to. I had 6 to 7 music projects already lined up for this year, with one of the most important being Boss Rush song with Yuzu projected for December already. I know it doesn't mean much without all the details of what they are or who they're supposed to be with, but this was my music release schedule for this year when Bao asked. A cover song for my 3rd anniversary, Boss Rush second song, an original song produced by Numi, an original song I was asked to be a part of by a creator I look up to, a Boss Rush 3rd song in October, Boss Rush 4th song I was planning to include User in December, and sometime a cover song I was asked to do with another friend. The Boss Rush project in August and December were planned to be much bigger endeavors similar to the first songs. Boss Rush's song for October might have been pushed to 2026 to have more time for December songs, and that's what my focus was on. I didn't want Boss Rush December release to conflict with Project Bao wanted to do together. I know the time investment needed to put music projects together and how difficult it is to get myself to record my own vocals sometimes. I didn't want to sacrifice the plans I had already had for this year, committing to another song. Even Numi said no to Bao at first because of her own schedule. I was removed from this chat when the documents were posted, so I don't have screenshots of anything from it. But how much more I was doing and planning with mine and Bao's other friends within our same friend group, and because of how I was neglected, Bao felt isolated, also evident in her tweets in March. And so this is Bao saying, you know, feeling alone in a crowded room sucks. So she asked her friends to collab and her friend said no. So she felt alone. That's, you know, that's fair. That's fair. That's relevant. She's explaining how she got so separated from Bao. Serious unfortunate event style. Yeah. We still did things together in a big group, even though I chose to turn down the group song, and Numi never seemed to have a problem with a few of us doing things separately. But I understand how Bao must have felt. I wasn't including Bao in any of my own things, and when our friends had free time, it went toward our plans together without her. Numi said Bao confided in her about me, and the way she thought I felt about her, but never did Bao try talking to me directly about how she felt. The same way I didn't talk to her about Red's feelings. I was neglectful of Bao and my friendship with her, and ignorant of the things I did without her were making her feel. I stayed quiet and gave in to Red, hoping he would move on over time, never knowing what he did and said behind my back. I was an awful friend to Bao for months when she didn't deserve it. That's accountability. That's fair. Whatever the fuck Red did, not accountability. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Bao posted a document just 6 minutes after Nana posted hers. She had already removed Red and I as friends on Discord and blocked us on Twitter. The message I sent her, another close friend at the end of December. Ironically, I didn't have healthy communication with my friends. I couldn't open up to them or talk to them about difficult subjects. I never spoke about anything that was going on. In the next section, I'll go over my lack of communication hurt Numi too. Okay. So what happened at Numi's concert? 28 pages. Light work. So reportedly, Cinder never showed up to a Numi concert Numi had going on, but also reportedly she did show up. Yeah, so I know Shiley kept saying, this is what I heard, because I remember Shiley was saying this, that Cinder never showed up, right? But then Cinder said, that's a fucking lie, right? Like, you know, I was here. Where's the proof? Didn't she have like, did she have like receipts that she was there? I think she had like taken pictures or something. Maybe it's not in this section, but she had taken pictures or some shit that she was there, right? Or some shit. This was a concert that was planned for over half a year. Interesting. And she just didn't show up to it. I messed up and hurt one of my friends, Numi. I agreed to be a part of her concert in NYC in February, but let her down and canceled my performance. Then when Veed Card's launch date was delayed to her concert weekend, I had put business over my friendship when I chose to not even be there for her so I could be representing a company and streaming with Shiley, which I mistakenly planned on the same day. Although I did make it to Numi's show, I still made a decision that hurt her. All while preparing for her own concerts. Numi had been producing an original song for me since December. I was asking a lot of her when I wasn't doing the same in return. I made her feel more like a business partner than a friend. Numi has always been an incredible friend, and I was lucky to have her care about me. She's always motivated and inspired me, especially when it came to music. I was the only one who was a bad friend. Her messages are only here for context. I'm sorry to her again for this whole situation I caused. I didn't bring up this before because it wasn't something that was involved anyone who had posted a document about me. I thought this was settled at the end of January privately between Numi and I, and apparently I was expected to talk about it, and when I didn't, it was used against me. The situation was vaguely described, pushed the idea of my manipulation, avoidance, and accountability, and sabotage of my friends, but none of that is true to what actually happened. It was caused by my own miscommunication, fears and anxieties, and misplaced priorities. So I want to go through the entire series of events, my thoughts, feelings, and decisions leading up to V-Card's launch, my collab with Shiley, and Numi's concert in New York. All right. You know what I can say? I will confidently say something right now. Outside of the one bad thing Cinder doing being dating Red, I will say she most likely is just shit at communicating with the people she actually cares about, like Numi. Right? Maybe Bao as well. Nano Lad, Red's an idiot. Cinder is clueless. Bao is crass, and Cinder was at the concert, but not as supportive as she should have been. Yeah, it's weird. It's complicated. It's unnecessary. But I don't necessarily think that Cinder's a bad person anymore. I just think that she's stupid for being with this boyfriend of hers. Which is weird. Which is so weird. All right. Blank will only be good sponsors though. The stuff with you and Cinder come up better. Blank word they help with sponsors in that. Which is why I went for the concert. Blah blah blah. New York is 99% possible. Probably not Germany though. I'll ask, but you should send her a message too. Okay, so this is just her asking to be a part of the asking her to be a part of the concert. New messaged me inviting her to her New York concert. I remember her bringing it up to me in person somewhere before this, but I don't remember where, when, and what was said. By the way, the New York concert's February 1st. If you'd still like to come, I'd love to. Where is it? And then she tells her where. And then they plan another stream together. Numi messaged Red about my performance for sure, saying I agreed to it. She told him the set list was already done too. Red was adamant about us being at Numi's concert there from the start. This was the first message from Numi to either of us about any kind of planning for her concert just over a month before it. Okay, so for my concert in February, I know Cinder said she'd be down to perform with me, but she was also want to perform one of her songs. We have a set list and made it so that there's an opening if she'd like to, only if she wants to. Red said they'd ask. And then she gave it a date again. She's saying there would probably be around 200 people there. And Numi offered to pay for the hotel and everything. That's actually really kind of her. When Red asked me about this, I was confused. I remember telling Numi I'd sing alongside her at one of her shows, especially how I felt about singing. Numi didn't mention performing when she brought up her concert to me a month before mentioning Red. I couldn't find any messages between us or any clips of our recent collabs talking about it. I remember talking to her concert with her in person at some point, and I guess I must have agreed to it in one of our trips together. Instead of trying to talk to me about the confusion and causing problems, I accepted it because whether I remember saying it or not, she had the impression I would perform. I really shouldn't have stayed quiet, and I didn't want to let Numi down. I never told her this by the time I had finally spoken to her about how I felt. How could I have? Numi never messaged me directly about the concert, which is why I left all of the communication about those plans over the next month up to Red when I shouldn't have been. So this was miscommunication on her part, and she still let Red handle it for her. God damn. This is when I first brought up the idea of a V-Card collab with Shiley. I wanted to become closer friends with her, and V-Card was something I think we were both really excited about. My Gamersubs part owner announcement was coming soon, and I felt that doing something together for the launch of their new game would be a great idea for the brand. V-Card was supposed to release on, the day or whatever. That is true. I will say, V-Card did have delays and shit. They spoke about it, they didn't follow. It never looked good for Red this entire doc. This entire doc so far is, Red fucked up. But in fairness, it also is, Nanoless lied. Nanoless lied and Red fucked up. Right? I just woke up. Golly, is it almost over? I wish. Numi contacted Red about it instead of Cinder, so there's more communication issues there. She canceled and uncanceled, but immediately removed the V-Card stream back an hour or two and made it. So she still went to the concert? Is that what happened? Yeah, so they were planning their collab. Red messaged Numi about the hotel so she could start planning our trip for her concert. Okay, they got their hotel information. Yada, yada, yada. I asked Shiley about the V-Card collab again to make sure actual plan since their release was under 2 weeks away on the 17th. I suggested the day after release on Saturday, which would have been the 18th, and Shiley replied the next day. At the same time, V-Card release date was delayed to the 31st. All I was thinking was that the collab was moved 2 weeks later than planned at the end of the month. Then we talked about doing other things together. And then this is literally just being like, fuck yeah, I'm down. And then they're like, all right, yep. I'm aware of the delay, all that shit. Okay, yada, yada. Lily's like, you're so sweet. Cinder's like, oh my God, you work so hard. Red finally got back to Numi about her question about my performance and told her about some of the struggles we've been discussing over the past couple of weeks. However, Red only said it was about performing on stage when it was specifically about singing with a live mic. I should have gone to Numi to talk to her myself. I didn't want to bail on my friend, but my anxieties around performing live were stressing me out. Despite trying to psych myself up, I was indecisive and couldn't make a decision on what to do. Numi told him that we shouldn't feel obligated to go to either of her concerts, including the one I was supposed to perform at. And then he's like, Cinder's iffy about performing on stage. And Numi's like, say for it, honestly, if she still wanted to perform, we can try and figure out how to get her on a TV to perform like Mousy. And Red's like, so we could drive there, but I really don't want to drive to NYC, so we take the train. But she's on stage, she'd want to be in cosplay, and we can't really take it with how much space it takes up. So let's say we do drive and we do bring the costume, then we're like, how are we going to get her in and out of the venue without being noticed in full cosplay? Yeah, I got that 100%. We talk about her bringing a wig or something. What's your wig in the chain? Sorry. The New York concert is more than chilled than LA one anyway, and I've never announced the guests just in case. I wouldn't want to pressure her or anything with that, to be honest. The concert is more chill than LA. I wouldn't want to pressure her, to be honest, only if she's 100% comfy. And then Red's like, is anyone else coming? And then, you know, Numi's like, 90% are going to the LA one. And then Red's like, everybody is in LA. And then Numi's like, this person's going, this person's going, this person's going. And then Red is like, oh shit, you know, we're bad friends. Numi makes a joke. And then, you know, fucking Red was like, when's the LA one? Numi says when, or whatever. And then Red's like, oh, so we're bad friends if we don't show up. And then Numi's like, I don't care if y'all want to go and you don't have to, like, it really isn't a big deal. So Numi's reiterating, it's fine if you don't show up. That's okay. Let's see. The usual reason is that I just leads to sloppy business practices because the difficulty of separating business and personal life. The Numi mame up and attacks. No, Numi never attacks Cinder. Numi never attacked her. Later that night, I was talking to Numi about matching shirts that she was making for us, and I suggested we could wear them together when I saw her in NYC because I was still planning on being there, but I hadn't decided if I was going to be able to perform that. I didn't say anything about my performance in her show, and she didn't ask about what Red said to her earlier that day. Okay. After a few days, I chose not to perform in the show. Red told Numi that he didn't, but he didn't go into detail about it, and just said it was about the live mic. This was 19 days before the concert, nearly 3 weeks before the show. And Numi says, no worries. And this is why I chose not to perform. I was anxious to be on stage with a live mic